Hello, Willie and Anna with the Garcia team. In today's episode of Discovering Whittier, we are spotlighting Shelter's Right Hand Thrift Shop.
That's right. Watch the entire episode. This is an episode that's really dear to our heart. I hope you like it and that you contribute to our little store here in Whittier. Thank you. The Whittier area has some amazing local businesses, restaurants, and families. Our mission is to spotlight them and, most importantly, tell their story. We are the Garcia team, and this is Discovering Whittier.
My name is Diane Britton. For the past 25 years, I have had a purpose, a special purpose in life, and that is to be a supporter and advocate for victims of domestic violence.
This week we visited the folks over at Shelter's Right Hand Thrift Store. Their thrift store is an auxiliary provider for the Women and Children's Crisis Shelter.
Actually, the story of the Women's and Children's Crisis Shelter started back in 1977. Our dear leader at that time, Stella Religa, who has left us, she passed away a number of years ago.
The powerful woman who started the shelter, Stella, was a very compassionate person. What happens next is very touching.
Stella was in a local hospital, and she observed a young woman who was being wheeled out of the hospital by her husband. The woman was battered, she was bruised, and the always inquisitive Stella had asked a nurse what happened. The nurse shared with her that she was abused and battered by her husband, who was the man that was wheeling her out for them to return to their home. Well, Stella, who was a very engaged and active woman, cared very much about her community and about women's issues, decided to gather a group of people to say this has to stop and we have to do something about this. Currently, to this day, we stand on the shoulders of Stella and the other women, and men as well, who established the Women's and Children's Crisis Shelter. So what happened? About 4 years after that time, there were a group of women who, following a literary group that they were in, started talking about continuing to support the Women's and Children's Crisis Shelter. They recognized there were needs, fundraising needs, support that the shelter had to have in order to continue to serve these families, the women and children. So they gathered, they started another nonprofit, Shelter's Right Hand, to support the work of the Women's and Children's Crisis Shelter.
You've probably seen the Shelter's Right Hand sign before without even giving it a second thought. If you have, you'll notice the right hand that really sticks out. Diane tells us more about why that hand is so important.
Why the hand? You think of a right hand in help. There were 5 purposes for that right hand. Volunteering. And Shelter's Right Hand is an all-volunteer organization. Ways and means. That's fundraising, raising funds for the shelter. Publicity. We call that social awareness now, I think. Maintenance, helping to maintain the actual operations of the shelter. And lastly, membership, support of our organization to engage and to help with the crisis shelter. The Shelter's Right Hand is in its 37th year of support for the agency, Women's and Children's Crisis Shelter. On May 22nd, 1982, the doors of the thrift shop opened. And over all of these years, that's 37 years, with volunteer support, this thrift shop continues to thrive. So this is what we do, and primarily the thrift shop and another fundraising event that we have, the Shelter's Right Hand Stepping Out Against Domestic Violence 5K Walk, support monetarily the Women's and Children's Crisis Shelter. Shelter's Right Hand probably contributes about 10% of the overall budget for the crisis shelter. So you can see how important, how significant it is.
We were fortunate enough to learn the story of Mariposa. a mother of two who was served by the shelter in the past. Women like her are why the shelter exists. As she continues to share her story, she touches the hearts of many people.
The reason why this is very dear to my heart, I was sharing with you guys that when I left my house, I was like literally, I felt like my house was on fire, even though it technically wasn't. My boyfriend at that time pushed my son, and like he literally kind of like passed out, and I panicked. And my girlfriend took me into a shelter, which I thought I was being punished for something I didn't do. And in that shelter, all I had with me was a diaper and a stroller. And they took me to a little shop like this one. And they allowed me to do shopping, unlimited shopping. I could get whatever I want. Like, I didn't have that stress level of like, no, you can't buy that. No, you can't get that. At peace. So it was a beautiful experience. So yesterday I did my shopping here for the first time, and it brought back memories. So I want to encourage you to shop here, and the reason why I feel it's important, it's because you're not just shopping at a thrift store, you're actually helping a woman and her family start their journey like I did. To ask for help. There's so many websites now. You can go online and just put domestic violence shelters. There's so many in every city. And believe me, it is not as scary, and I really want to say this, it's not as scary as you think it is. Honestly, I felt like I was going to be put in a jail cell because I felt like I was being punished for something I didn't do. But when I walked into that shelter, man, my life just changed. Everybody was super nice to me, and I couldn't understand why. And it's funny because sometimes I even kid around, like I joke around, I should make up a story that I got abused just I could go back in there because it was so beautiful. The experience, and like I'm serious, like the experience that I received, like it make you feel like you're important, which I didn't feel I was. And more than anything, I feel beautiful now because he pretty much played with my mind. He's like, well, we didn't want you with 2 kids. You have stretch marks. You're short. You're this. You're that. I felt like nobody was gonna even look at me, let alone date me, or you know. So I want to encourage everybody to believe in yourselves and that you're beautiful. You are beautiful. It's not what he tells you. It's how God sees you.
Thank you for watching another episode of Discovering Whittier. If you're a small business owner here in town in Whittier, or know of somebody that would like to be on our show on one of our episodes, feel free to contact us at discoveringwhittier@gmail.com, or simply give us a call at 562-756-6465. Thanks for watching our episodes. We truly appreciate that. Don't forget to follow us, and most importantly, share us with other individuals.
Like us and follow us. Don't forget.
Talk to you soon.